Monday, Mo Money Monday. We are live on 9:10 a.m. WFDF coming to you out of Detroit and, of course, broadcasting all over the world. You know what? We want you to call us. This is going to be a show that you are going to love. 313-778-7600. And when you call us, tell us where you're listening in. Are you in America? Are you someplace in the world? Are you calling from the Midwest, from the West Coast, from the East Coast? It is your girl, Caterina Harris Earl. I'm a part of the Force of Friendship with my girlfriend, bright and orange today, Gloria Mayfield Banks, on the air with Sabrina Goodwin Monday and Crisette Ellis. We are hailing from California, Baltimore, Ellicott City, Maryland, from Ohio, Geneva on the Lake. I got to get used to saying your new city, and Detroit, Michigan. We're so super excited. Today is going to be an amazing show. It's very important because at some point in everybody's life, they have gotten a job. I know we are all entrepreneurs and we love it, but we all had a job at some point. And this is very important. And I even learned why it is important for those of us that are self-employed to have a resume. So we're going to talk about that. You're going to meet someone that will really impress you. It is new to us today. We are not having just 2 commercial breaks, but 4 commercial breaks. So flow with us and just know we're going to get to as many of the callers as we can. I'm going to bring the girlfriends in really quickly. Gloria, looking bright today. How is it going? What's happening over there in Ellicott City? Okay. Unmute yourself on StreamYard, Gloria. Unmute yourself on StreamYard. Get excited. Y'all can see how gorgeous she is. But so, Chris, we want to hear all about it. You know, you are the ambassador for the Cadillac dealership of Detroit. So let us hear from the ambassador. How was it? How was it?
Well, when I tell you, it was really exciting, you guys. A couple of months ago, I was asked to be the ambassador for Prestige Cadillac, which is the only Black-owned Cadillac in Detroit. And I picked up my pink Escalade there. The experience was absolutely wonderful. So when they asked me, it wasn't a matter of if I would do it because I was already a recipient of their phenomenal customer service. So I was really excited, especially you all know, when you have a Black business that's doing it, at a high level that just give premier service. Their showroom is absolutely beautiful. Everybody is kind. Everybody is helpful. So I was really, really excited to do it. And so we did that. And then a friend of mine reached out to Gloria and then reached out to me, and he was interested in an Escalade, and he lives in Dallas, Texas. And he said he looked everywhere in Texas. And Texas is a huge state, could not find an Escalade. And so he was just asking me. I made a phone call to the dealership, and the story is just a lot to unfold before Sabrina looks at me and gives me the side eye about me going too long. So needless to say, my guy, Henry at Prestige Cadillac, he called him, was able, you guys, to find him a Cadillac, an Escalade. You can't even hardly find this car anywhere. It had all the bells and whistles, everything he wanted. But check this out, you guys. They are selling these Escalades for $10,000 over the sticker price. The sticker price on that car was $100,000. They had to pay $110,000. Do you know what a $110,000 house looks like? You can get an amazing house for $110,000. And the last thing I'll say, you guys, this is serious. So many dealerships don't have cars. When we went, the manager told me they had zero cars. Zero. Every single car that they have is a used car. Can you imagine going to a dealership and you have to wait 4, 5, 8 months for a car? So I'm telling you, it is just unfathomable that you cannot find a car. And if you have a car and you want to sell your car, you can make some serious money on your car. So it was just a great day. It was a great day for Prestige. It was a great day for Keith and Daryl. So I'm really excited that it was a win-win for everybody. And so with that, I'm going to throw it over to my girl, Sabrina Goodwin Monday. And don't say anything, Sabrina. I'm throwing it to you.
It's so good to see everybody. So good to see everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. What a weekend. You would have thought it was Christmas. Everybody was out for Halloween. I mean, really. I mean, you can tell we've been in a pandemic. I've never seen the streets so full. I've never seen so many people dressed up. I've never seen so much candy. I mean, it was like, wow. And then I heard the airlines, people weren't showing up to work. So many flights were canceled because it was a shortage of staff. It was like they were flying for Halloween like it was Thanksgiving and Christmas. I ain't never seen nothing like it. We're blessed and thanking the Lord that the Pardon and Parole Board in Oklahoma recommends clemency for Oklahoma death row inmate Julius Jones.
Wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yes.
Really?
I mean, so that's huge news. But now it comes down to the governor. Can you imagine? It comes down to the governor to make the final decision. And this comes less than a week after Oklahoma resumed executions for the first time since 2015. The state put John Grant to death last week. Although decision on Jones' fate is up in the air, his execution is scheduled for November 18th. Now, the governor, now that the parole board has recommended clemency, now it's up to the governor for the final say. So we're just praying every day and every night. There are vigils in the streets of Oklahoma. They're standing in front of the governor's house saying, please do the right thing. This man has been proven innocent in every kind of way. And so we're just believing that the governor will do the right thing. Yes. So that's what's happening.
We stand in, and we're so grateful for Representative Regina Goodwin, who we know is fighting the fight and making a difference. So we will definitely be praying. Wow, Sabrina, we've got one step and we got another huge step to go. Well, I'm going to bring in our guest before the break. And I just want you to hear how super bad she is as you bring her in, Dorothy. Bring her in front and center. Bring her in front and center. When I married my husband and moved to Chicago, I wasn't from Chicago. And, I prayed, got my business going. And I said, Lord, I need a tribe. I love to mentor women. I love to be in the energy. I want to know. And Crystal and I met, and lo and behold, her mama knows there's always a connection. We already talked about it. She knows Amy Hilliard, Gloria's. Listen to her accolades, y'all. Young, hot, and poppin', ambitious, winning woman. Crystal was stumbled upon 2 ways to utilize her writing gifts as both an employee and an entrepreneur. Since 2009, she has been a career coaching expert and CEO of Right to Success. Seeking to impact the masses, she focuses on assisting clients in writing their way to opportunity through effective resume and cover letter writing. Enjoying the forever changing entertainment industry since July 2016. I remember that time, Crystal, we had the conversation. She has been the executive assistant for Louis Carr, president of media sales at BET Networks, which is a subsidiary of Viacom CBS in Chicago. She has been responsible for best assisting talent at noteworthy events such as the BET Awards. You follow her on social media, you're going to see her looking fly at the BET Awards, book signings, Essen Festival, Soul Train Awards. Some talent that she has worked directly with: Breezy from the Netflix show All American, Damon John of Shark Tank, Genuine, Sway Calloway, who I know him very well because he's from Oaktown. My girlfriend used to date his brother. World-renowned D-Nice of Club Quarantine. Okay, we all know him. Chris Gardner from the Pursuit of Happiness movie. Wow, an amazing story. Mike Bivens of New Edition, who you was just with last night or something like that, you said.
Yes.
In a roundabout way, she has been utilizing her BA in business management to capitalize on BET opportunities and spearhead her own business. No matter the endeavor, remember her name, Crystal Marshall wholeheartedly commits to helping others reach their goals. And Crystal, I'm going to bring you in. You got 2 minutes before the break, I told her they had put these new commercials in here, and I said how perfect it is to have somebody from TV who understands break.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to everybody. I'm excited to share my knowledge and my wisdom with everyone in regards to career development, workforce development, LinkedIn profiles, salary negotiations. I'm an open book. So whatever you guys want to talk about, I am completely open and willing to share what I know.
I love it. I love it. Well, we always have our guests just tell us a little bit about themselves. I know we're about to go to a break, but I want you to just talk because you were not in the entertainment industry. You were self-employed, I believe. And just tell a little bit about your journey and how you landed the job that you have right now, which is a career so many would love to be in. And so I think I'm like trying to figure this out. How much time we have? I think we have a little bit of time for you to go ahead and start, or Michael.
4 minutes.
Okay,
Ahead,
I got
Michael.
a couple minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
So in 2009, that's when I started my resume writing business because I had several jobs prior to. So I was an admissions counselor. I was a management trainee at Enterprise. I was a licensed personal banker at Chase. And I've always been trying to figure out what's my purpose in life. And am I going in the right direction? And oftentimes I felt like I was just going in circles. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was trying to figure it out. So every year I was quitting jobs and getting new jobs and like, no, this can't be it. This doesn't feel right. No, this can't be it. It doesn't feel right. But I had been writing resumes for my friends in college. I learned how to write my first resume from a resume writing book when I was 15. So I got my first job at Kittyland Amusement Park because my mom bought me a book and was like, you need to figure it out. She's always been the you better figure it out mom. So that makes me very resourceful. And so I did my business from 2009 to 2016. And then one day, I believe it was God led because I was looking for Kelly Rowland's dance show. And I wanted to know when it came out, what time. So I went to the BET website. And then I heard a voice say, click careers. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, why would I look for jobs? I'm not looking for a job. And I did it, though. And then I saw the position president, executive assistant to the president of media sales. And I started reading the description. And I was like, this would actually make sense for me, even though I've never thought about entertainment. I've never considered that realm. But the job description felt like me. And so I applied. I wrote my own resume. I wrote my cover letter. They called me back. My first interview was 5 hours. It was 5 different people, and each person got an hour.
No.
And the second one, yes, they gave me a little bottle of water.
Wait, the first interview was 5 hours?
5 hours. Long as ever. And then the second one was 3 hours. It was like an assimilation interview. And the last interview was with Lewis. And that was a 45-minute interview. And they said, we're going to call you in 2 weeks and let you know if you got it. And they called me that night and was like, can you start this week? I was like, what?
Wow.
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 Like,
Wow,
OMG,
that's awesome.
OMG.
Let's just talk about you
about
enduring 5 hours. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yes. How
And
do you
that wasn't even
prepare for
Lewis.
an
That's what I'm
interview?
like. That ain't even.
By the third person, I was trying to figure out how long is this because they didn't tell me it was 5 hours. So I was like looking at the clock by the third person, like, how long is this interview? It was
You
very
worked the
long.
full day.
They turned over
Wow.
every rock.
Yes. So that's how it happened.
Unbelievable.
And I've been there since 2016 now.
Wow. Well, we're going to go to a break. And when we come back, one of the things we're going to talk about is about transferable skills, because just because you've been working in one industry, those skills transfer to other industries. You are listening to We Got Issues, 910 AM WFDF. We will be right back.
Good. I like that.
Spinach wraps, fried spicy buffalo cauliflower, and sweet potato maple cheesecake. Don't forget about
Well, we are back. We are back. You are listening to We Got Issues. Oh my goodness. You are back from our first commercial break. We're going to get this flow down. Thank you for our loyal listeners. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are here with Crystal Marshall. You want to visit her website, right2success.com. You can follow her on social media. She'll give you all those details and we'll post those up. I just want to give you a couple stats. A record number of workers are quitting their job. We have heard this. The number of people quitting their jobs has surged in record highs, pushed by a combination of factors. Some 4.3 million people quit jobs in August alone. The phenomenon is being driven in part by workers who are less willing to endure inconvenient hours, poor compensation. They're quitting instead to find better opportunities. You need a resume, okay? 10.4 million job openings in the country at the end of August. And so many companies, we're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. 55 million companies listed on the LinkedIn site, 14 million open jobs. So 87% of recruiters are using LinkedIn. You also need to have a jammin' LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
87%. So LinkedIn profile. So I want you to just talk about, let's just talk about those transferable skills. I know we're going to kind of come in and go back to the basics of the resume, but sharing your story, how to talk about how people have transferable skills and how you help them see how working in one area can carry them to another area.
Okay, so there are different resume formats, and there's one that's chronological, which is the typical one that's used. So you list your jobs out from the most recent to the least recent, and you do the last 10 years. But there's another format called functional. And if you do the functional format, you are focused on your skill sets. So that's where you're extracting certain skill sets like communication, customer service, management, leadership, any of those types of skills you would put at the forefront of the resume. So because I had so many jobs that had nothing to do with nothing, if you just looked at it on paper, and it would confuse somebody. So I had to focus on my skill sets. So for an executive assistant. They care about organization and time management and being the gatekeeper of the person you're supporting in organization. So those are the things that I focused on. And then I just listed my jobs at the bottom. And the jobs at the bottom didn't have any descriptions after it because I extracted those descriptions that would have been at the bottom and I placed them under the skill sets. So I had to paint the picture to make it clear to them I'm qualified, even though I know you see that I was a banker. I know you see that I was a trainer. I know that you see, but I'm qualified because I have these skill sets. And then you add writing and editing, and that's a transferable skill that can work in any industry. So that's what piqued their interest. And then I wrote a very captivating cover letter to let them know that I read who he was. I understood who he was, what he's done in the industry. I did a lot of research on him, and I made that clear in the cover letter that I did that much homework.
Killed the game. Talk more about the cover letter. Talk more about the cover letter and the importance of that, and where do you start? And first of all, we know where you start is you go to righttosuccess.com and you get a professional to help you, because I love how right on your website you show this is what she came in with, hot mess, and this is what I changed it to. Same person.
Yes, I have to show the before and afters. Like, I want you to know that it's going to be completely rewritten, and the new version is going to totally represent who you are and where you want to be. So I always start off asking my clients, like, what type of position do you want and in what industry? And some clients are like, well, I've already been in the medical industry or healthcare industry or entertainment industry, so I might as well do that. And I'm like, it's hard to find a job, so you shouldn't go in with the might as well because it's convenient. Right. Like, you should pursue what it is that you honestly want to pursue, because it's going to take time either way. So why not put time in trying to figure out what it is that you actually want? So we start there, but the resume is bullet points. So that's not like formal sentences. It's just like a list of things that you've accomplished and contributed to the positions you've been in. The cover letter is an actual letter. So those are paragraphs with real sentences where you're displaying your communication skills. If you say I can write, then you should not have any misspelled words. If you say I edit, then it should be a seamless read. It should go from one sentence to the next sentence, one paragraph. It should flow. So you can't claim to have certain skills and then don't portray them throughout your cover letter and your resume. So the cover letter is basically saying, this is what I'm looking for. I saw your job here. This is what I want. These are the skill sets that I have that work well for this position. And I'm also teachable and willing to learn more. And then you say, I've attached my resume so that we can discuss an interview. Like, that's pretty much what you're trying to do. You give them a segue so that you can capture their attention, and then they look at your resume and then they call you. That's really what it's all about, is trying to get a phone call.
Go ahead, Kristen, jump on in.
Okay, Crystal, thank you so much for being here today and lending your expertise. This is so good. So my question is, with the resume will get you in the door, but then after you get in the door, it's about how you present yourself. So do you, outside of just writing the resume, do you also give tips for how they should present themselves after they get there?
Yes. And honestly, I make sure that people understand who they are. Like, it's a confidence thing. Like, you have to know what you've already achieved and what you're capable of. So I can't write this dynamic resume and then you walk in with your shoulders slumped over and you're looking like you're intimidated as soon as you walk in the door. So if we write this stellar resume and it truly represents you, you have to know that that's who you are and that you are qualified. So you have to walk in that way. You have to walk in with confidence. You have to know, like, I do deserve an opportunity to at least pursue this. Whether or not you get it, that's up in the air. Like, I didn't know that I would actually land that role, but I was ready for it. And I proved that I was ready in my communication, both written and verbal. So I do help people with mock interviews. I do give people typical questions that are asked during interviews. So even if something else is asked outside that box, you're still confident enough and prepared enough that you can figure out how to answer it quickly. So we do a lot of practice for people who feel like, I'm not ready, or if I hear in their voice that they're not ready, I'm like, no, we need to get you ready, because you are not convincing me, and I need you to represent all of us very well.
Right.
Awesome. That's great.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Krista, do you think that they really don't know how to write a good resume, or they don't know how to present themselves, or they don't think it's a priority, or both?
I think it's a combination. Some people, they walk into places hoping that someone gives them a shot, but they don't feel they deserve it. So they are kind of at the mercy of the employer. That's how they approach it. They're like, oh, I just hope somebody helps me out. I hope somebody gives me a job. I hope, but they don't actually feel like I'm ready for this. And so they don't walk in that way. And then a lot of people just don't know how to prepare. And resume writing is a gift. It really is a skill set that takes a lot to produce. So I don't expect everybody to completely understand, but I do need them to understand the importance, and I need them to know that your accomplishments are not job descriptions. So if everybody just listed job descriptions, then nobody stands out. So you have to talk about what you did on your job, how you contributed to the team, how you were successful. And those are the things that you need to highlight. Don't just list that I answered phones. Like, a lot of people answer phones. Were you rude when you answered the phone? Were you polite when you answered the phone? Were you best assisting people? Like, how many phone calls did you answer a day? So those are all the things that you have to be very specific about.
I love this. I love this. You guys are going to go to, just so you're clear for the radio audience, it's write2success.com is the website. Before we go to the next break, we were talking about my resume, and I was like, I ain't never gonna work for nobody ever again. I don't need a resume. And you said, yes, you do. Can you tell these chicks right here why we need a resume? Because I was like, okay, you fixing the right move for me. Tell us.
Well, the guy that I support, Louis Carr, he's been at BT for 35 years. So when I got there, it was like 29 years or 30 years or something like that. And I told him that he needed a resume. And he was like, no, I don't. I've been here forever. Like, I don't need one. So I still wrote his resume. Like, he didn't know that I wrote it, but I wrote it. So I wrote his resume, and 3 years later, he needed it because he was applying for corporate boards. And they asked for his resume. He was like, just send him my bio. And I sent the bio. I was like, that's not what they asked for. He was like, just send it. Everybody takes that. And I sent the bio, and they were like, this is great, but where's the resume? So we had the resume already ready. I had to add like a bullet point or two. So everybody needs one. I think everyone should have a bio. They should have a resume. They should have a LinkedIn profile set up, because no matter what someone asks you for, you should always have it ready and available.
I mean, because, you're looking at folks that have a lot to put on a resume, which is really exciting. When we come back from this next break, we want to really get in. We still have a couple minutes to really get into this salary negotiation. I'm looking at 2 clocks, and they both got different times. So salary negotiation, give us a couple tips on getting paid what you're worth, especially in this market.
Never accept the first offer and never make the first offer. So whatever they say, you always counter offer it. And there's so many things that you can negotiate. Like, some people negotiate parking spaces. Some people negotiate more PTO days. Some people negotiate. It's not just about the number. Like, there's other things that you can talk about. So some people negotiate like a gym membership, or, there's always something out there. But I always recommend people to never take that first number. I just recently got my sister more money, and she was willing to accept what they gave her. And then when they counter offered, it was only like a couple dollars more. I'm like, no, that's not good enough. I was like, tell them this number. And she was like, but I'm nervous. I'm like, no, we are not going to take this. So they came in just like $2 shy of what she actually wanted. So I was so happy.
That's good. We want to talk about that some more.
Some more. We need a crystal in our life. All right, we're going to commercial break number 2. You are listening to We Got Issues on 910 AM WFDF. Stand by. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness, we are back. We are back. We are back. The good part about these additional breaks is our theme song just keeps on keeps us in a good mood. We're grooving, we're grooving, we're grooving. And you know what? I'm telling you, everybody needs to know what we're talking about today, because we're talking about how to sell yourself to an employer. Or now we've learned it's either whether you're applying for a board or any of the things that you need to have a resume. We've talked about resumes and cover letters. Crystal, you were talking a little bit about salary negotiation. Before I pass it back to Sabrina to bring her in, can you just share a little bit more about how you assisted your sister, and what does that look like? Do you counter verbally? Is it written? Like, what does that look like when you counter?
We write it because we want paper trails. So we write everything. And they send you the offer letter in writing. It's usually an attachment in an email. So you respond to that. And first you say, like, can I have a day, like 24 hours to get back to you? So you don't really need 24 hours, but you ask for it anyways. And then you write your letter, your response to them. So you thank them for the offer and you tell them that you're definitely interested. And then you say, based on my skill sets and based on my accomplishments throughout my career, and you list some of those things out in case they forgot. And then you say, I would like to counter offer at this amount, whatever the dollar amount is. And then you say, I look forward to discussing it with you. So that you leave it open, and then it's a conversation. So they may call you or they may write you back, but either way, now the table is open for you to say what you really have to say. Because the bottom line is, once you're in a position, the likelihood of you getting a significant raise is slim. So you want to get as much as you can up front, in case they only give you living expenses raises of 2-3%. So you need to get as much as you can once you're hired, because that conversation is not easy to have once you're there.
And isn't it true that if they give you an offer, they already have made the decision that you're the one they really want?
Right.
So sometimes we don't negotiate because we're afraid they will rescind the offer, but they really do want you.
Right. And then you have to know that if they really want you, and if they decide you're asking for too much and you decide, well, that's not enough for me, you can always go somewhere else. Somebody else wants you too. So yes, you've gone through this process, but you can wait a little bit longer to get what you really want. So you don't have to feel like, especially if you already have a job, which a lot of people are looking for jobs where they have jobs. So there's no sense of real urgency to take anything if you have a job already. So you need to, if you're moving from one thing to the next, then the goal is to get better. So don't try to be stagnant and stay the same out of fear. Like, push forward and see what you can get.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so awesome. This is such good information. Girl, my husband just got a new job. I wish I would have had these words. Okay? We could have been sitting a whole lot prettier. No. This is interesting, Crystal. My friend just recently, last week, she was offered a job and she was all set. She was excited about it. And then she called me very down. They had rescinded the offer, talking about they had offered it, but there was no paper trail. And they rescinded it, talking about one of her references. They wouldn't tell her at first, and she pressed HR. And they said one of her referrals didn't check out or something. And it was just the weirdest thing because this is the most upstanding woman I've ever known in my life. And they said that one of her references didn't check out. So how often do you see that in the workplace where a job is offered? Because they should have checked the references prior to the offer, right?
Well, no, sometimes they say they offer it and then it's contingent on your references. Usually they don't go to the references yet. They offer before that, and then they say it's contingent on references, it's contingent on background check, it's contingent on your financial FICO score. Like, all of that is like after the fact, after they already offer you. So it does happen. And I think they do it backwards. I would think that you should do all your checks and balances before you say, we want you on board. But they do it backwards to me. But that does happen though. But I always tell people, and I say this because of what happened to me, that whatever is meant for you is definitely going to happen, and it's going to be better than what you even think you missed out on. So I think it's a faith builder.
So yeah. Just today, she called so excited saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that didn't work out. I got another job offer that was way better. And so
that is so awesome.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's God blocking you. Yes. And he's like, no, hold on. I got something better for you. So you got to trust that part of the process too. I know it's disappointing, but you got to still be like, nah, it got to be something better. It has to be.
Process. Yes.
This is
so good. Talk this about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a whole community. I stumbled upon LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur for 30 years. Never, ever have I needed to go to LinkedIn. But I went over there for something, and I was like, wow, this is cool. This is like a whole Facebook situation for people networking. And I found people over there that I hadn't seen, talked to. I was like having a good old time in LinkedIn.
Oh, so Lord, there she go. Her like.
Like. I'm telling you, I saw people I hadn't seen in forever, and I was having all kind of conversations. So talk about that community. Talk about how you utilize it. I mean, somebody might hire me. I ain't even looking for a job.
Don't teach to it, please. Don't get over it. Don't do it. Save me. I just need 2 more months.
And just so you know, Crystal, of all of us, Sabrina is the journalist, so she is the one who will catch every single.
Right.
If she had read what I sent you,
wow.
she would fix it before.
She reads it.
It's good to have someone like that. Yes, we need that person on the team. So LinkedIn is very important. It's your digital resume, basically. And a lot of companies, first of all, you can apply for jobs on LinkedIn, and it's literally just a click of a button, kind of like Indeed. But I do always recommend people visit actual company websites and figure out what their mission is, what they care about, so that you can also speak to that, and also to do your application through the actual website. through like their job section, because usually you have to go that route anyway, so it'll save you some time. These are for the jobs that you're really interested in though. But LinkedIn is very important. You need a professional headshot for one. Don't have like one where you are partaking in extracurricular activities. This is the professional Facebook. This is like the professional Facebook. So everything needs to look, professional. You don't necessarily have to have a collared shirt, but you do want it to be like a really good headshot. And there's also this company called, it's a website called Canva. It's Canva, C-A-N-V as in Victor A. You can make like your banner background on there for your LinkedIn banner, and it's free. Like most of them are free, but it'll give you some sort of character to your profile. LinkedIn also tells you when your stuff is not all the way complete. So it'll tell you if you're like 75%, 90%, 60%, it'll tell you what to add to it. So you want to make sure that you are making a complete profile. And if you're looking for employment, there is a button where you can say basically like open to conversations or seeking employment. So you want to have that open so that they know that you are open to conversations. But you want to make it as complete as possible, and it should kind of mirror your actual resume. So I typically do the resume revamp for a client first, and then if they want me to do their LinkedIn, we do that afterwards. So it's like a shorter version of their actual resume. But it definitely speaks to accomplishments. It definitely speaks to their contributions when they were working on certain jobs. Like everything should be tailored to who you are. It should never read basic, like never ever read basic, because you have to realize that everybody is applying to the same job that you are. So if it's basic, if everybody's stuff is basic, then how do you choose? You don't. You just wait until some more people come through that don't look basic. So you want to be that person.
I think
Crystal,
you'd be a beast on the other side too. I think you'd be a beast on the hiring side, on the basic.
On the 5-hour side. I bet you have been on the other side, right, Crystal?
I have.
You've been on the other side a lot.
I have. So I've seen things and I'm like, but I can't help everybody.
Right. I bet you're like, no, that's all you getting. You ain't getting not a dime more.
Crystal, one question. What would you say is the biggest mistake that you see people make? And can you recall anything that was just over the top hilarious? Like you're like, no, they didn't send that in.
I saw this guy. He was applying to be an assistant for a woman. So he put like flowers on the background, but he also had, it was like a modeling book. Like he had like his finest attire on in these like photos. I'm like, is he a model or an assistant, or is he trying to be her man? Like it was just a lot going on, and he tailored it for her. But I was like, what is this? It was like a dating profile is what it looked like. And he thought it was so good. Like he handed it like it was the best thing ever. He was like, yeah, here's my stuff. I was like,
Okay. Crystal, how about social media in general? How often are employers going to your social media and looking for who you really are?
It's happening. It is really right, because it's open to the public. Most people's profiles are. So even though people are like, this is my page, and I really think people make the mistake of thinking like that's my stuff. Like, no, it's not your stuff. It's Facebook stuff. It's Instagram stuff. It's TikTok stuff. Like anybody can see it. So if you are saying that I'm this professional, reserved, whoever you deem yourself to be, and then they go on your page and you just wilding out on every single post, or you have your butt out on every single post, or you have like all the time, like this is what you do. So it doesn't seem like you might not work for that setting, because some people, like for my job, we go to award shows and all that stuff, and we're around like a lot of people. I can't be drunk every single time I'm around these people.
We want to hear that. We want to hear that story, because this is big for everybody. We're going to commercial break. We're going to be right back. We're going to pick right up right there when we come back.
At the BTE Award.
Okay, we are back. We are back. We are back. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. We are back with Crystal Marshall, Right to Success. We got issues. So grateful. I'm sure that you are aware of these top 5 websites for jobs: ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn. We just talked about it. Monster, Flex Jobs. Maybe Crystal will mention some others. Top 5 apps for jobs. I hadn't heard of any of these. Work Llama, Greenhouse, Breezy, Jazz HR, Bamboo HR. There's all kinds of ways. Y'all remember when we used to have to just get out of the house and go get an paper application? No more, no more. So, Crystal, just to wrap up that conversation about social media, if someone's social media is not looking right, because some people think they can have a professional one and they have a private one, what would you recommend they do? Can you actually delete it? Some people need to clean their stuff up for real.
Well, it's all digital footprints. So once it's out there, it's a little bit tough, but you can create so that the future posts aren't looking crazy. Or you can archive stuff on Instagram. You can do some deleting, but it's also like people can just Google your name and stuff will pop up based on things that you've already put out there. So you want to change the way people view you for sure. And today would be a great day to start. Like, you don't want to be having them check your references, which also means check your social media. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, this isn't for us. We don't think you're a good fit. When they say words like that, you know something happened.
That's code for you to make it good.
Right. They found something happened.
So, girlfriends, what are some other, we've been self-employed so long, but just thinking for the job seekers out there, what would be some other important things that we would want to get from Crystal?
You know, we're entrepreneurs, but we hire as well. So I love this side of it in terms of the expectation. And I think one thing that you're saying to me is that when people are applying for a job with you, it's okay for me to have high expectations of them, even in the application of themselves, not just in their experience and not just in their presentation, but what they deliver to me to see first and foremost, because I think that's really important. I mean, there's lessons to be learned on both sides of the table, I think.
Yes. I completely agree.
So that's
because it is a two-way relationship. It's a relationship. Like, an employer-employee is a relationship. So you have to know kind of what you're getting. And I know we all have facades and faces that we put on, and you actually learn people once you're there. But there are questions that you can ask in the interview that'll help you understand somebody. Like, if you're talking to the manager, you can ask them what's their management style. Some people are micromanagers. And if you know you don't work well with a micromanager, and you will hear those types of hints by the things that they tell you. So if it sounds like they're a micromanager and you're like, I don't want somebody breathing down my throat, then you know that's not a good fit for you. So it has to be a fit for both of you.
Right.
And Crystal, it's interesting in the pandemic, in COVID, because we have home-based businesses, and I don't know what's appropriate and what's not, but I didn't even get to the interview. I was looking for some house help, office assistant in the home, housekeeper in the home. And before I even got to the interview, I said, please wear your mask. And when you come to the interview, and both of them replied back, totally different situations. Do you do you want this hire to be vaccinated? And I said, that's my preference. And both of them were like, well, keep looking. And so, yeah. And I said, thanks for your transparency. I most definitely will keep looking because that's my preference. But do you know what's appropriate, inappropriate in the workplace now? A
lot of jobs I've noticed, even for like when my clients send me job links to whatever they're applying for, a lot of companies say that you have to be fully vaccinated. And then some people are like, oh, well, I don't want to do that if I have to be fully vaccinated, so they don't apply. But you should read all the details, and companies are listening completely and openly. So if you're not vaccinated and don't plan to be vaccinated, then just don't apply because they told you up front. So you will be wasting your time and theirs. So just find something else that's maybe virtual or doesn't require vaccination. But vaccination is a thing right now, so that's another factor that you definitely have to consider when you're looking at positions.
Hey, Crystal, I have a question.
I was starting to feel some kind of way. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know you were feeling some kind of way, Sabrina. I was going to ask you, how important is your image when you go in for an interview? I remember way back in my college days, and when we were, graduating, and they were telling us you got to dress for success and, dress for the position over and above the position that you want. But I know nowadays with different things, sometimes it's very dressed down, but should you always dress up and then be told that you don't have to dress as professional? Because professional has changed over the years.
Yes, I think that you should. I think you don't have to be suited and booted depending on what you're applying for, but you always should be neat. And you always should look somewhat professional, like maybe business casual. Even if they're wearing hoodies, don't wear a hoodie. Like you're not in yet. You have to get in first, and then you can wear the hoodie if that's acceptable. But I don't think you should go in like, I've got this already, so I'm gonna dress like everybody else here. Like you need to dress like you're trying to prove a point that you belong there, and that they don't overlook you because you look like something else that made them questionable. So if your attire is not questionable, then they'll pay attention to your words, which is what you want them to pay attention to. But if your attire comes in just like super relaxed, sweatpants, jeans with the raggedy gym shoes, and you're like, well, they just gonna accept me for me. No, they're gonna pick somebody else. That's what they're gonna do. Like nobody has to pick you.
Keep it real. So what has changed with so many people working from home and not needing to necessarily work in the same city as the job? How has that changed the game with resume writing, with applying? How has it changed the job search situation?
I think it's opened a lot of opportunities because even like my sister, she lives in Las Vegas, and their cost of living is not as expensive as Chicago. So if she got a Las Vegas company, then her salary might be different than if she got a Chicago company. But they're doing it based on cost of living in Las Vegas. But now you can apply to Chicago companies and you can do remote you can work from home and still get a really good Chicago salary. So I think that it has opened up a whole like opportunity-based thing where you're not limited. But the thing is, people haven't switched their mindset to that. So in their head, they still think I have to choose things in my city. But you don't have to. And at the moment people realize that, it's going to get even more competitive. Yeah.
Has it changed? Are there any tips for video interviewing? Because I bet a whole bunch of people are video interviewing versus in person.
You should put a nice top on. You should have your background clean. Or use a virtual background. Your kids shouldn't be coming in and out asking you questions on the interview. It needs to be quiet. You shouldn't be in your car with the seatbelt strapped on, talking about, hold on 1 second. Like, you should be in a stable place. So you still want to give them your undivided attention. So I would say that's what has changed.
This is so good. First of all, you guys have got to follow Crystal Marshall so you can follow her on the red carpet, all the things that she does for BET, and visit her website, write2success.com, because you know you need a good resume and a cover letter and a LinkedIn. You need Crystal Marshall. Thank you, Crystal, so much for being here. And thank you guys for hanging with us on Motivating Monday. We'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.